Hey guys, this is Lindsay from Perfectly Bookish 5, and I have a very quick review of Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. The new Hunger Games movie, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, just premiered this last Friday. I was able to go see it Thursday night. There was an 8 o'clock showing, and I went. I did go by myself. I have never gone to a movie by myself before, but I really wanted to see this one, and I can always go again with my friends if I want to. I did read the book back when it came out. I don't even remember at this point how many years ago it came out. I want to say about 2, not totally sure, but I know it was a while ago. And I do remember I didn't care for it that much. I gave it 3 stars. I went to go back and read my review to try to see what I didn't like, and unfortunately there wasn't too much information from my review on Goodreads. So I remembered parts here and there. I do remember liking the background on the Hunger Games, but I didn't really care for Snow. If you don't know President Snow from the Hunger Games movies, this story is about him and his younger self, getting a bigger background on him. The movie is close to 3 hours long, so it is a lot. I did really enjoy some parts of the movie, and there were some parts where it dragged on a little bit for me, which goes into that 3-hour time limit. But I know some people, there's some controversy going on with the actress that plays Lucy Gray, and I really don't know too much about that or her personally, but I think the actors did a really good job in their parts. For me, Viola Davis, who plays the game maker, stole the show for me. Her character is kind of creepy, and she just does it so well. And I had a lot of fun watching her play the part of the game maker. Actor who plays Flickerman, which this is the first year that they actually are having a host to the Hunger Games. He has some pretty good lines in there because he's just so blasé, like he doesn't care about the tributes at all, and he just really doesn't care about anything going on except for the fact that he is the host and he wants to look good and just do his part. So there are some like oh my gosh lines that he has, which kind of helped lighten the mood a little bit for the tragic stuff going on. So yeah, overall, I really thought the actors did a good job. Now getting to the bigger part of the movie itself, this is going to be the 10th year of the Hunger Games, so it is still fairly new. And this Hunger Games is nothing like we know it when we get to the 74th Hunger Games with Katniss. We kind of start out, we get a little background that there is war going on, but then we get Snow going to school. There is going to be a prize given, and a money prize, and he thinks he is going to get it because he is the top of his class. He does everything he's supposed to, and I don't recall if there is this prize every year, and that's why he's really looking forward to it, and that's why he was also working extra hard because his family needs the money, or if this was something new for the school. So he gets to school, and then all of a sudden there's an announcement that there's going to be a change. The prize money isn't going to be given out that day. They have one more final task, and the task is that each of the students are going to be assigned a tribute that is elected to go into the Hunger Games, and they are going to be judged not just if their tribute wins, but what they do to try to help their tributes win. Tributes are treated entirely different than how we see Katniss and the tributes getting treated. So part of this movie is finding the base for how the Hunger Games became the spectacle that it is when we are first introduced to it. Because now this 10th Hunger Games, these kids, these tributes are treated so awful. They're put onto these trains that they're just in like a train car. It's not fancy like we see Katniss having all this food, these special tables, this great grand bed. No, they're just put into empty train cars. They're not given food, and once they get to the Capitol, they're put in a cage to be displayed like animals at a zoo. So the tributes are treated like scum, which the Capitol thinks all the other districts are, and kind of why they're coming into the Hunger Games. So it is just such a huge difference from years later. And also the arena is just one place that they hold the Hunger Games in year after year. It isn't different places like the forest and the beach and all the different places that we know that the Hunger Games have been from the previous books and movies. So for me, it was really interesting to see the development of the start of the Hunger Games and how it became such a big show, and that Snow has a big part in it. That is all I'm going to say on that, because I don't want to give anything away on how Snow plays a part or different aspects of the Hunger Games itself. But like I said, I just found that part to be interesting. It was fun for me to see the differences. The movie is split up into 3 parts. I'm sorry, I don't recall if that's how it was in the book, but I don't think the movie had to tell us that it was going to be split up into 3 parts. I mean, you just know, you sense it as the movie goes on. So there is like before the Hunger Games, and more as the Hunger Games are going on, and then after the Hunger Games. Meaning, when I'm saying after Hunger Games, I'm just talking about that specific Hunger Game that we're in, that 10th year. And you get to see Snow's development from his hard life as a child into seeing what he really fights for and how he fights for it. And then you're going to see kind of like the final straw that turns him into the man he became when we meet him in the 74th Hunger Games. There are definitely some nods thrown in this movie to the original Hunger Games that we first got, and sometimes it felt a little forced. Again, the theme here, I can't remember if certain parts were from the actual book or if they were just put in to be like, oh my gosh, maybe that's where this came from when we had the original. There are some things that I do like that connect, and one of them are the songs. Now, our main girl character, Lucy Gray, she sings, and some of the songs that she starts to sing, that tells us the origin of where they come from, like the song The Hanging Tree, which I found to be interesting, and I really did like the music that was in this movie, and a lot of the songs are coming from Lucy Gray, and I was entertained by them, and I think she did a good job singing them and that she has a good voice. There are some kind of funny parts. This is when drones are first introduced into the Hunger Games, where people could donate stuff to the tributes, and it's kind of funny seeing those utilized because it is definitely not a well-oiled machine like it is later on. It's just funny how they are trying some stuff out for the first time with the 10th Hunger Games and how it's all working, because they seem so advanced when we get Katniss's Hunger Games, and it's just fun to see that progression. Not that there should be, because they get really evil, but different things, like we find out about the Mockingjay, Jabberjays first, and some of the different creatures that they put in the Hunger Games, and some of the developments of that, and that comes from our evil game maker. Sorry, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, but there are things I want to say, and there's things I want to make sure I am not saying so I don't give anything away. And I have already heard that the reception to this movie isn't the best compared to the originals, but the originals were such a hit, and Jennifer Lawrence did such a good job in her part. I don't think that this movie can be comparable to those, because those were just on another level. So all in all, I did like the movie. I think it was good. Could it have been better? Yes, I do think that, but I think the actors did their job. I think stuff was portrayed pretty well for the most part, because you are trying to get a background on Snow, mainly to see why he became the person that he was. But it was a little too long in my opinion, and there were some parts that dragged. But is it worth seeing? Yeah, I definitely think it's worth seeing, and I am eventually going to watch it again. I will own it. I need it for my Hunger Games collection. But yeah, so I would give it a try if you were on the fence about it. And of course, nothing like books, movies, they don't always compare. You can get so much more details in a book, but it's worth a shot. So let me know down below if you have seen it or if you are planning to, and have a good day. Bye guys.
Making sure that we really got people behind him, and I think we really succeeded. And I think a lot of that also goes to Tom Blythe, our actor, who just did a phenomenal job. I love world building in movies, and so to sort of be able to recreate the world of Panem was really exciting. I've come out of these dark days of war, and there's still rubble on the streets, and some of the classical buildings are being sort of put back together. New buildings are sprouting up that may hint at the Panem that we're sort of more familiar with, but also seeing how rudimentary everything is.